My parents signed over their entire estate to my golden child sibling, then tried to guilt me into supporting them in retirement. But I'm done being their backup plan, so I refused and went no contact. I'm 36 now, and I've spent my entire life being invisible to my own family. My younger sister Megan is 2 years behind me. Growing up, I thought maybe I was imagining it. Maybe all parents just naturally gravitated towards certain kids, but no. Looking back, the pattern was undeniable. When I made honor roll, my parents nodded and changed the subject. When Megan got a C- in algebra, they threw her a pizza party for trying her best. When I got accepted to college, they forgot to tell anyone. When Megan got waitlisted at the same school, they called every relative to complain about how unfair the system was. I paid for my own degree, worked full-time at a warehouse while taking night classes for 6 years, graduated with $47,000 in loans that took me until I was 32 to pay off. Megan, they covered her tuition, bought her a car sophomore year, paid her rent for 3 years after she graduated, and needed time to find herself. She found herself a string of boyfriends who moved into apartments my parents bankrolled, found herself fired from 4 jobs in 5 years, found herself pregnant at 29 by a guy who disappeared 2 months later. And somehow, every single time, my parents found a way to make it my problem. Can you help your sister move this weekend? She's stressed. Can you lend Megan some money? She's between jobs. Can you watch the baby Saturday night? Megan needs a break. I did it all, every single time, because I thought maybe, eventually, they'd see me. They'd notice I was the one actually holding things together. They never did. 3 years ago, my father called me on a Tuesday afternoon, said they needed to discuss something important, asked me to come to dinner that weekend. I thought maybe something was wrong. Maybe someone was sick. I drove 2 hours to their house, sat at the same kitchen table where I'd eaten 18 years of meals feeling like a ghost. My mother made pot roast. She only makes pot roast for special occasions. After dinner, my father cleared his throat. We've been doing some estate planning, he said, and we've made some decisions about the future. He slid a folder across the table. Inside were documents, the house, the rental property they'd bought in 2015, their investment accounts, a life insurance policy worth $400,000. All of it signed over to Megan. I remember staring at the papers, reading my sister's name over and over like it might change if I looked hard enough. We know this might seem unfair, my mother said, but you understand. You've always been so capable. Megan needs the security more than you do. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just asked one question. What about when you can't take care of yourselves anymore? My father actually smiled, like I'd asked exactly what he expected. Well, he said, we assumed you'd help with that. You're the responsible one. You always have been. Let that sink in. They gave my sister everything. The house I helped them paint, the rental property I found for them, the savings I never asked them to share, and their plan was for me to fund their retirement anyway. I stood up. I thanked my mother for dinner. I walked out. I blocked their numbers that night, changed my email, told my wife we were done with holiday visits. For 2.5 years, nothing. Complete silence. I figured they'd made their choice, and I'd made mine. Then 6 weeks ago, I got a letter, handwritten, my mother's writing. It was 4 pages long, full of apologies, explanations, tears I could practically see staining the paper. Megan's boyfriend had convinced her to invest $180,000 of the inheritance into his startup. The startup didn't exist. He vanished with the money. The rental property was sold to cover Megan's credit card debt. The house had a second mortgage now. The life insurance policy had been cashed out early. My parents were 68 and 71. They had maybe $30,000 left. Megan wouldn't return their calls. At the end of the letter, my mother wrote, "You were always our rock. We know we made mistakes. Please, we need you now more than ever." I read that letter 3 times. Then I wrote back, 1 paragraph. 3 years ago, you sat me down and told me exactly how much I was worth to this family. You showed me the documents. You made it official. I was the backup plan. The safety net you never had to think about. Well, I've spent 3 years building a life where I'm no one's backup plan. You chose Megan. Now let Megan choose you. I sent it certified mail so I'd know they received it. That was 3 weeks ago. My wife asked if I felt guilty. I thought about it for a long time. The truth, I felt nothing. And honestly, that's the saddest part. They spent 36 years teaching me I didn't matter. I finally believed them.